Do I desperately need to wash my hair? Yes. Am I gonna do it? No. Hey guys, so today's video is going to be me doing this look. I did more of like a bronzy springtime look. I used a mixture of high-end, drugstore. I threw in this Colourpop Sweet Talk palette to do this eye today. Nice peachy, bright look. I threw in some old favorites such as this contour palette or contour duo by WetnWild, a super old favorite, this Revlon lipstick that I used to wear on my makeup counter days, and I had to lie that I wasn't wearing it because I had to use a lipstick that was from that counter. And then I also used this super expensive Marc Jacobs bronzer. I wasn't using it. It was sitting in my collection and I put it in this like little drawer thingy that I have so I can reach for it more often, and I was pleasantly surprised, and you'll see that in this video, how it applied and how well it blended and how it wasn't doing that before. I don't know if it's like a different way that I'm doing my makeup now, or if it just if I just wasn't talented enough back in the day and I just mastered that skill of blending bronzer on a face. Who knows? So I'm just gonna throw on some Benefit Porefessional. This is like a baby tiny little sample of it, but this is a decent primer. It's not my favorite, but I'm trying to use up what I have because I have so many tiny little samples and mini travel size of a lot of products that I need to just use up. I actually kind of want to do a video of like full face of just tiny makeup. I think that would be so cute. I don't know if I have everything in like tiny, but like I think I have most everything in tiny. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some Milani Soft Focus Glow. This stuff makes your skin look like you have angel skin. I just kind of like tap it where I want to be the most glowy, which is my forehead, my cheeks, my chin. And then I see Jackie Aina do this all the time. She takes like a loose powder, sets her primer, and she does this right before foundation. So I'm going to try that powder under foundation trick, and I'll be using the Catrice Mattifying Waterproof Powder, and this is the transparent. There's no color to this. So I'm just gonna take this like flat angled brush and just really put that on the areas where I get the most oily, which is like right here, all of my nose, the middle of my forehead, which I know we just put that primer, but look, you could still see the sheen, and my chin. So for foundation, I'm going to be going into my L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. I'm just going to dot this. I should probably put this behind my ear. Is this a lot? Probably. Open up. You open up. For concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I liked the original Camo Concealer, but when they came out with Hydrating, I'm like, oh my goodness, like exactly what I wanted. I liked the original Camo Concealer. I just felt like it was a little too dry, which I know I have oily skin. You wouldn't think I thought it was too dry, but I really just like having a natural finish, like a good healthy sheen to the skin. But I'm gonna take my Sephora. This is when I hit VIB Rouge, which will almost never happen again anytime soon. This is the Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush. I kind of hit Rouge, not by accident because I made the orders, but then my biggest order, which I made when they had their VIB sale at the end of the year, a few years ago, it actually got stolen. So I had to report it stolen. I got my money back, and I just never made the order. That order had so many products that I finally pulled the trigger on. It was a lot of like higher end makeup. There was a couple like YSL things in there, a palette. Like, I was so sad when that got stolen, but thank God they were able to reimburse me. And they let me like stay in Rouge. for the next year. But honestly, the perks for like Sephora is not that great compared to Ulta. And like Ulta, to hit like a decent level where you get good perks, you don't have to spend as much as you do at Sephora. So I'm gonna do the reverse brow trick, which is you take a tinted brow gel. This is the mini of the Benefit Gimme Brow. I have it in the shade 5. What you're gonna do, so I don't clean the tip off. So you know how when you take like little brushes out like this, there's always like excess product on the tip. You're gonna leave that. And you're going to kind of like dot it. Then you're gonna go ahead and brush it out to blend the tint. And then I take some on the bottom. So you always want to start like where you want it more intense. You can see the difference of without the brow gel and with the brow gel. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a fluffy, this is a fluffier angled brush. I'm gonna go into that middle shade and just go ahead and fill in the sparser areas. I didn't use as much powder as I would usually use, and they already look so much better. Now I do have to clean them up because I am so messy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna use my Morphe M432 brush. I'm gonna take some of my concealer and pop it on the back of my hand. So I kind of like just like get some and then dab off any of the extra because I don't want it gluing into the hair. Then I'm just going to sketch out and carve out my brows. Like, this is not a step that like you have to do. I just like for my brows to look a little more cleaned up. And like I actually know what I'm doing. Like doing makeup on yourself and doing makeup on other people is so different. I love doing makeup on other people, but like really, I like doing makeup on myself. It's just not the same. It's like I know what my face looks like. I know what to do with my face, but like everybody is like so, you have to kind of tweak different things according to the person because they might have a different skin tone, skin type, like they might have different concerns. They might be super oily, they might be super dry. So like it's kind of like a little puzzle doing makeup on other people, and like just the different face shapes, different eye shapes, just different features. Like it's just fun. But it is hard like to get used to and to kind of like figure out how to adjust person to person. So doing makeup on other people can be a little intimidating. Are they the same? No. But it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eye concealer. I'm gonna use this WetnWild little contouring duo, and this is in the shade Dulce de Leche. I'm gonna grab an e.l.f. blush brush. I'm gonna go into the highlight pinky shade. This is such a good shade for under my eyes. Nice. And it's just like a nice brightening shade, and it does correct a little bit because it has that pink undertone. For the rest of my face, I am going to set it down just a little bit. I'm gonna be using my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. I'm gonna use that with the brush that I used with the Catrice powder. We're just going to tap that. And this is a powder foundation, so it will add coverage. So if you find that you didn't have the best coverage with the foundation, even though the one that I use has amazing coverage, let's say you use like a light to medium coverage foundation, this will actually help that and bump up the coverage. I do need to prime my eyelids. I'd like to do that and let it sit for a little bit. I'm gonna use my Milani eyeshadow primer. I love this eyeshadow primer. It's so good. I got it off of Emily Noel's recommendations, and like so many, like she's made me buy so much makeup and so many products because she just raves about them, and I'm just like, yes, if Emily Noel loves it, I love it. So eyes are primed. Let's go ahead and go in with bronzer. So for bronzer, I'm actually going to be using my Marc Jacobs Omega Tan-Tastic bronzer. Now, this was getting raved about on YouTube, and honestly, it's not my favorite. I was just testing to see how tacky my skin was, and it's not. So this was one of the most raved about bronzers a few years ago, and I bought it. This bad boy is expensive. and it's not my favorite bronzer. I'm using it because I put it in like my little, I have like a little drawer set right here that I put makeup that I want to use more, and I put this in there so I can use it more and I can reach for it. And here we are. I'm gonna go in with my WetnWild powder brush. It came out with the Pac-Man collection. It is so cute. It's one of the best bronzer brushes I've ever used. So I'm gonna go ahead and start tapping it right where we want it. And as you can see, it's not a bad bronzer. It's just not my favorite. Like the tone is fine. It's a little red. It doesn't blend effortlessly like other bronzers that I have. So I'm just placing it and then we'll go in and blend it. It looks a little crazy. And so yeah, it looks a little crazy right here. I like to kind of blend towards the eyelid and into where I like to put blush. We're just blending inwards. And you don't want to pull it down, you want to pull it in and up. Actually, this looks really good. Why was I talking shit about my ridiculous bronzer? Oh my gosh. Was I just being a hater? Because I spent so much money on this and I'm like, this is expensive and not even worth it. But do I think it's worth it? No. Do I think it's nice? Sure. And I like to do like the little W trick where it's like, you like kind of blend it into the nose. Okay, so I think we're done with the bronzer. This actually looks really pretty, and blend it out like a dream. Not patchy at all. It looks really good. So for blush, I'm gonna go in with this Bare Minerals Gen Nude blush, and this is on the Mauve. I think it's pronounced on the Mauve. It's supposed to sound like on the move, but it's on the Mauve. I don't say Mauve, I say Mauve. So the name doesn't make sense if I say it like that. Going in with my Real Techniques multitask brush, taking that blush, and I like to start like right here, like where you usually start to highlight. I'm gonna start my blush right there. I like going up the temples, and I like blend it down into towards the apples, but I don't like going too close to the apples because we're gonna do the W trick. So right here where we go, we're gonna go up. And this is kind of like where you would get like naturally flushed. So I don't like to go too in down, I go in up. I might be putting on like way too much blush, but like, it's cute. And to kind of make this look a little more natural, like you were in the sun, we're gonna go ahead and take our powder foundation one more time. And we're just gonna tap over the blush. We're not gonna touch really the bronzer, just the blush, and like this is underneath the skin. So now, once we've kind of like powdered over the blush and made it kind of seem more like in the skin, like the actual skin is flushing, I love this look. I love the way that looks. Now to highlight, I'm going to highlight my bronzer first. I'm going to be using this Ulta Beauty Baked Bronzer. I'm going to focus more on like the darker shade that's swirled in, because I don't want too much brightness. Now we're just going to lightly dust this on the forehead, and it's going to give us such a pretty glow. And then on the cheeks. And you can use this as highlight, but I like this for like a bronzy glow. If you want to keep it like nice and subtle, you can stop there, but we're not subtle. I'm going to go ahead and go in with my Fenty Beauty Hustler Baby highlight. And my Morphe M438 brush. It's a small tapered brush. It's narrow, so I really love it for highlight. And I'm just gonna concentrate it up here and going right above the brow. All right, now we're gonna go into the eyes. For the eyes, I kind of want like a peachy spring like look. So I think we're gonna go in with my Colourpop Sweet Talk palette. Now, I did have a video up for this one. This is technically going to look like my first video, but I had filmed another one, rewatched it, absolutely hated it, and deleted it. Should I have done that? No, but I did. So this is gonna be my new first video. This is what the Sweet Talk palette looks like. I think I'm gonna go into this like really pretty pink shade. It's called Dream Maker. I'm dipping a Morphe 504 brush, tapping off the extra, taking the smallest bits, placing it where I want it. Kind of like what we did with the bronzer, and we're gonna go in and blend it. See, like blending it once you have it placed is a little easier than trying to blend it as you go and putting a lot on, because you can always add but you cannot take away. I think I'm gonna go into West Side right here. It's a nice mid-tone brown. I'm gonna go in with a Morphe M521, and it's nice. It's like kind of like pinched, so it's flatter on one side and wider on this side, and I love that for like really getting good detail. If you're like medium to like larger eyes, this is nice. If you have smaller eyes, this will probably be a bit overwhelming for your eyes and be too big. Open up, shut it down like a Macintosh. Open up, open here. Take a little bit more Dream Maker and just kind of bring back that pinky peach. I don't want it to get too dark. I want to keep it nice and light. And I think for the lid, I want to go with more of a like bright, kind of wet looking shade. So I'm going to go into this one and side to side. Do you see that? Oh my god. Look how pretty that is. So for the bottom, for my lower lash line, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this WetnWild eyeshadow brush. And I think I'm just gonna go into West Side, which is that mid-tone brown color. I don't want it too peachy underneath the eyes. I'm gonna focus it just on like the outer half and then blend whatever I have left inwards. How like intense is Melody? What if we just pop this like right in the middle? Would that look crazy? No, it's cute. I like that. So we're gonna get a little bit of Melody on our pinky, which is this nice like bronzy, like it's kind of like a light bronze. And we're gonna get that like right in the middle. We're not gonna take it too in. Just focus it right in the middle of the lower lash line. Okay, I'm gonna take this Beige Cosmetics brush. It's a pinched one, so it fits really nicely in the inner corner. I'm gonna take this shade in the corner. It's called Catch Me. Just a nice matte, creamy pink. Take a little bit on the brow bone. I don't want it to look too pink, so just a tiny bit. And on the same brush, we're gonna take just a tiny little bit of Hustler Baby. And just pop it in right there. Take Take a little bit on the bridge of the nose and on the cupid's bow. Share that out. All right, so those are the eyes. I want to keep them a little lighter. I don't want too much depth. I do want this like nice, like springy, like I have some color, I've been outside kind of look. I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes, throw on some L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, and this is the waterproof formula because that's the only kind of formula my lashes will stay curled with. So I'm just gonna speed through this.
Open up, you OPN, bitch, you won't BBM. We should be closer than friends.
Keeping that light, so I did like about 1.5 coats on each side. All right, and for the lips, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some lip liner. This is actually gonna be part of a haul that I'm gonna be filming once I get everything in, because I did manage to get some of the Selena collection that Mac just came out with, so I'm super excited. I also threw this in that order, so hopefully that'll be up next week. But I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips with MAC Dervish.
Open up, you OPN.
For lipstick, I'm gonna go in with Revlon Rose Velvet. This is an OG fave. I've been using this lipstick for years. This one's kind of like a neutral. It has a little bit of warmth, but not too much. Not really cool. And then I'm gonna pop on just a little bit of gloss. This is a Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. These smell like children's Motrin, like the liquid one that I used to drink when I was little, when I was like sick. But like I actually loved that medicine, so like I don't mind this smell at all. Ugh, it smells so good. Did I want to put on a little bit like inner something in my waterline? Yeah, actually, let me quickly throw on this WetnWild Ultimate Brow Highlighter. This is actually a really good shade to throw in your waterline. So let me just do that really quickly. This actually stays really well on your waterline. And because it's a little bit like not stark white, it's a little more pinkier skin tone, it just makes the perfect a little pop in the waterline. Kind of show you a little close-up of the look that I did today. Nice little springtime quarantine look. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at this. So if you went ahead and liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and also put like what product recommendations or videos you would like to see from me next. Go ahead and subscribe so you can go ahead and see when I post those. Well, I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.